Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video to show you how to change the LCD screen assembly in the LG V20. So the first thing you want to do is power off your device. Next we're going to remove the back cover by pushing in on this button right here. And the back cover comes right off. Next you can put your fingernail in this slot right here and pry up the battery. Next you can remove any memory cards or SIM cards that you have right there. I'll include a link in the video description below the video for any tools that I'm going to be using today during this repair, or any parts that I'm going to be replacing. Anything that I think might be helpful to you, I'll include a link in the video description below the video, so check it out there. So next we're going to be using a screwdriver size 1.5 by 4.5. Depending on where you get your screwdriver, sometimes it's size 000 as well. Some manufacturers vary a little bit, but if you get one of the toolkits that I recommend in the video description, the size should be 1.5 by 4.5. So next what you're going to want to do is use that screwdriver and remove 21 screws all the way around this edge right here. So go ahead and remove all those screws. So now when you remove all these screws around the edge here, the only ones that are different size are these 5 along the edge here, the ones that show metal underneath them. Those 5 are a little bit shorter, so you want to make sure to keep them separate from the other ones. All the rest are the same size. So the next step to get this back apart is these 2 end caps have to come off first before this can lift off. So what I found, if you just kind of grab it on the corner right here and just kind of pull up, it'll pop right off. So that's the top one. Then the bottom one's the same way, just gently pull and it'll come right out. So next, to get this cover off here, I'm going to start in this corner right here, this top corner, and I'm going to use something thin to pry under this right here. Now don't go in too far because the motherboard is right here. So you just want to basically get it started. Then you can just keep pulling up. It just has plastic clips that holds it down. Then we want to just work this over. Don't pull too hard here, you could snap this little thin part. So just work yourself around all the way around like that, and then the back cover comes right off. Next, to remove this whole logic board motherboard here, what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect this connector right here, just by prying up on it carefully. Now you want to use something plastic for this, or your fingernail, nothing metal for this. Then we will want to disconnect this rear camera right here. Since it comes out easy, let's remove that. Then we'll want to disconnect the front camera right here. So now that you have all those disconnected, I'm going to turn the phone this way, and we're going to try to carefully pry up right here under this gold part here, right in line with the rear camera. And what we're hoping to do is that the rear camera comes up with it. See how it's picking up with it like that? Then the whole board comes out just like that. Now if the rear camera stays in here, it's not a big deal. Just this connector comes loose is what it is, and then you can remove the rear camera like that. Now we need to look at everything we need to swap over to our new screen. The headphone jack is what we want to swap over, the vibrator motor, the earpiece speaker, the volume buttons, and flex cable. And we need to replace this whole strip that has the button to open the back cover as well. So all that we need to swap over to our new screen. If you see anything in your old screen that your new screen doesn't have, you need to swap that over as well. So let's get started with removing different things that we're going to need to swap over. So first of all, we're going to need to remove this whole bar here that has the buttons in it for opening the back cover. There's a slot on the back side here, right here. If you have something like this plastic pry tool, you can get under there and you can slide up along here, and that starts loosening up. You can just work your way up, then that whole part pops out just like that. Next, remove the headphone jack. I'm going to use a tweezers. You can use whatever you want. Go in the hole right there, and you tip this up like this. Then what I'm going to do, this is kind of tricky to show, but I'm going to slide underneath that flex cable. You have to do this carefully so you don't damage this connector. You want to put slight upward tension on the headphone jack right here. Not enough to tear it, so you have to be careful, but enough to give it a little bit of daylight so that as you slide under here, to loosen the adhesive under here, and that'll come out like that. Next, remove the vibrator right here. You can just slide under it with your tweezers. It has strong adhesive under it. If you don't have a tweezer, you can use something thin, maybe a pin or something to get it started. And it has adhesive under it, like I said, and then the whole part will come out just like that. Next, to remove the earpiece speaker, what I'm going to do is carefully use something like a tweezers and slide under here, under this contact right here, this flux cable. If you get that popped up, it just has adhesive under it. Then you can just carefully come in from this end right here, slide under there. That part lifts right out of there. Next, you also want to remove this part, and you can do so by sliding under the flex cable there, loosening that, and carefully pulling that out of there. Next, we're going to remove our volume buttons right here. I'm just going to use the tweezers and carefully pry up on the top part here, and these volume buttons pop right out. So then next, to remove the volume button flex cable, slide under this contact part right here carefully, stuck down with strong adhesive. Now we want to be very careful not to damage this, but what I'm going to do is try to go under here and slide carefully along underneath like this, we could tear this really easily, so we got to be careful. And then I'm going to try to show you this, and then I have to lay it back down to do it. Now that this is up like this, we need to carefully try to slide under there and slide along behind this way and slide along behind this way, and just loosen that whole cable right there. So once you do that, then this whole cable comes out just like that. That's what it looks like. So now, like I said, that should be all we need to remove from our old screen. But look around, if there's anything that is on your old screen you need to swap over to your new screen, go ahead and do that at this point. You may want to also swap over your sticker here so you keep your serial number and IMEI number and everything with your new screen. So we're going to start reinstalling. Next, to reinstall your volume button flex cable. Set it down on there, line up the pegs. There's 2 pegs, so it shows it right where to go. Then we're going to lay this down. Fold that over, line up this connector where it goes, make sure it's all stuck down, then grab your volume buttons. Where this sticks down like that, that goes down. You want to set the buttons right down in place, and you can test them out by pushing on them, make sure they click. Let's go ahead and grab this part, set it down in there, stick it down where it goes. Next we're going to grab the earpiece speaker, just set it in there and press it down. Make sure that when you put this contact in place for the earpiece speaker, that it goes right in where the holes line up. Next we're going to grab our vibrator, set it down in there. Next we're going to grab our headphone jack. You're going to set the connectors down in there. Press them down right where the hole lines up. Then we can just grab this part, push it in there, press it down good. Next we'll grab this part here, snap it into place. So now to reinstall, the main connector we got to watch is this one so it stays out of our way. And you just want to line everything up. Set the board down in, then we can go ahead and reconnect this connector right here. Next we're going to grab our front camera. Push it down in there, reconnect it right there by pushing down. Next grab your rear camera, set it down in there. Just reconnect it by pushing down on that connector. Next, to reinstall this back part, just set it down on here where it lines up. Snap it in. Then you want to grab your top piece here, slide it on. Grab your bottom piece as well, slide it on. Then go ahead and put all your screws back in. Remember, these 5 with the metal showing underneath are the shorter ones. Next, grab your battery, set it down in here. Then you want to grab the back cover. You want to kind of get this side locked in first and press down on this side. Then you want to turn your phone back on, make sure everything's working, your touch and everything, and you're all set. Thanks for watching.